Welcome to the Everything Podcast, Season 3, Episode 109, recorded on the 30th of April 2024, released on the 3rd of May 2024, and in this episode I'm going to be previewing Doctor Who Season 1, or the 2024 season of Doctor Who, and there's actually going to be two parts to this episode, so I'm going to go through all of the general news, like need to know things before Season 1 starts coming out, and then I will explain how that is going to look based on that, based on when the episodes come out, how that's going to look on the channel. So yes. So let's start off, as I said, with looking at the 2024 season / Season 1 of Doctor Who. So we know that the first season, Season 1, will be 8 episodes long with a Christmas special, making it 9 episodes every year. So the cast for Doctor Who Season 1 includes, this isn't all of them, this is only the main ones that I could find, but because of something else that I'll explain later on, not all information is out yet, so I can't be full, and the list will probably be a lot longer. So here we go. We have Ncuti Gatwa, Millie Gibson, Amryn Barnard, Gemma Redgrave, Anita Dobson, Michelle Greenidge, Angela Winter, Jinx Monsoon, Jonathan Groff, Indira Varma, Bonnie Langford, Lenny Rush, Alexander Devrent, Majid Medadiza Velajurdi, Bayi Joshi, Elder Lohan, Pete McHale, Miles Yakini, Hemi Yerum, Sophie Ablett, Millie Kent, Gemma Arrowsmith, Mary Malone, Genesis Laney, Gwen Morris Jones, Dame Sian Phillips, Calais Cook, Tasha Newell, Golda Rochevelle, Colin Springle, Tom Rhys Harris, Chris Mason, George Capel, Philip Davies, James Hoyles, Ed White, Josie Sedgwick Davies, Kit Rackerson, Jeremy Limp, June Hudson, John Anderson, Kate Forsyth Noble, Billy Bradshaw, and someone who I've forgotten to add, who has always been announced, so it's no secret, is Yasmin Finney. So that's it for the cast of Season 1. Now to talk about the episodes. So we know that all episodes of Doctor Who going forward release at least for Season 1, release at midnight GMT, so everywhere in the world will get it at midnight GMT. For example, like the first two episodes, so episode 1 is titled Space Babies and episode 2 is titled The Devil's Called. They will release at midnight GMT on the 11th of May 2024. So whatever midnight GMT is in your time zone where you're watching this is what time it will release, basically. And then we have Boom on the 18th of May, 73 Yards on the 25th of May, Dot and Bubble on the 1st of June, Rogue on the 8th of June, The Legend of Ruby Sunday on the 15th of June, and the Season 1 finale, Empire of Death, on the 22nd of June. So I should mention that Season 1 only has full writers. So we have Stephen Moffat writes Boom, Episode 3. Kate Herron and Bryony Redmond write Rogue, episode 6, and Rusty Davis writes the other episodes. But we know for season, if you're going, it's a bit too much Rusty Davis. Don't worry, for season 2 there is at least 5 writers for the 9 episodes, so it's not particularly. Well, you've technically got 4, but the problem is that it's 2 writers to an episode. But yes, now, so I've kind of explained what season 1 of Doctor Who will look like. Now it's time to look at how this is going to be shown, how Doctor Who content is going to look on the podcast. Come on, computer. There we go. So let's go back to the beginning. So obviously, today being the 3rd of May, is the Doctor Who season 1 preview. So the episode that comes out on the 9th of May will be the Space Babies preview. The Devil's Cord preview will come out on the 10th of May. Now, previews is not kind of something I've done before, so that's new. Now, the reviews is where things get interesting. So on the 13th of May, I'll be reviewing Space Babies. On the 14th of May, I'll be reviewing The Devil's Cord. This is an advantage of it releasing at midnight. So I've got all weekend instead of just Sunday to review it. And so it doesn't end up what happened with Wobbly Under the Giggle and The Church of Ruby Road, where it was a month. So I'm shortening that gap. That's as close as a gap because I need to record it and it needs to get animated and it needs to be uploaded. So yes, that's the shortest amount of time I can do. So that's what that is going on. Then on the 15th of May is a trailer breakdown for Boom, as I assume there'll still be trailer breakdowns. Done that before. Then on the 16th of May, so the day after, I'll be previewing Boom. On the 22nd of May, I'll be reviewing Boom. 23rd of May, I'll be doing a trailer breakdown for 73 Yards. 24th of May, I'll be previewing 73 Yards. On the 29th of May, I'll be reviewing 73 Yards. On the 30th of May, I'll be doing a trailer breakdown for Dot and Bubble. On the 31st of May, I'll be previewing Dot and Bubble. On the 5th of June, I'll be reviewing Dot and Bubble. On the 6th of June, I'll be doing a trailer breakdown for Rogue. On the 7th of June, I'll be previewing Rogue. On the 12th of June, I'll be reviewing Rogue. On the 13th of June, I'll be doing a trailer breakdown for The Legend of Ruby Sunday. On the 14th of June, I'll be previewing The Legend of Ruby Sunday. On the 19th of June, I'll be reviewing The Legend of Ruby Sunday. On the 20th of June, I'll be doing a trailer breakdown for the Season 1 finale, Empire of Death. On the 21st of June, I'll be previewing Empire of Death. And on the 26th of June will be my final Doctor Who review for the foreseeable future, potentially of Season 3, where I'll be reviewing the Doctor Who Season 1 finale titled Empire of Death. So yes, so what I've covered in this episode is I have talked about general 2024 news for the 2024 season / season 1 of Doctor Who and how that's different, and the cast and what the episode titles are, as well as when they will release at the special time of midnight GMT instead of like 6 or 7 PM GMT. And it's a simultaneous, I've mentioned this already, simultaneous webcast. What's it called? Simultaneous. I know someone will probably put it in the comments for me. Simulcast, that's the word. I got half there. Simulcast around, a worldwide simulcast, global simulcast. Yes, I'm now saying simulcast a lot. Anyway, yes, so let me know what you thought of both the Doctor Who Season 1 news, including the titles, the dates, the cast, and also what my plan is for the podcast relating to Doctor Who content. But that is... no, that's not quite it yet. So, yes, you can do that in the comments below. Remember, you can also comment below any reviews you would like me to do, a movie or a TV show. Yes, what the normal what I say isn't going to apply here. And remember, you can also like, comment and subscribe. And that is it for the Everything Podcast, Season 3, Episode 109. Goodbye.
Welcome.
Welcome to the Everything Podcast, Season 3, Episode 115, recorded on the 4th of May 2024, released on the 9th of May 2024. In this episode, I'm previewing Doctor Who, Season 1, Episode 1, titled Space Babies. And the reason why it's coming out today is because in tomorrow's episode, I'll be previewing Season 1, Episode 2, The Devil's Cord. And the reason why it then because it's by the time an episode comes out on Saturday the 11th of May, Doctor Who will already be out, so I thought I'd do it beforehand. Anyway, without further ado, here is my preview for Doctor Who Season 1 Episode 1, titled Space Babies. So it releases on the 11th of May at 12 AM GMT, so midnight GMT, and stars Shooter Gatwa, Millie Gibson, Golda Roosevelt, Michelle Greenidge and Angela Winter. We know that Space Babies is written by Russell T Davies and directed by Julianne Robinson. It takes place in the year 21,506 on board a spaceship. We've actually got a quote from this episode taken from Doctor Who magazine. So here is that quote. Doctor, what is it with you and babies? Ruby, I was going to say that to you. Doctor, we've gone from baby to baby. I'm not going to say things are connected, and yet things connect. And we know that this episode's villain is the Bogeyman. So that is my preview for Doctor Who Season 1, Episode 1, titled Space Babies. So let me know what you're most excited about in the comments below if you watch Doctor Who. If you don't, you can put a comment anyway. Remember, you can also send any review suggestions for a TV show or movie in the comments below. Remember, you can also like, comment and subscribe. And that's it for the Everything Podcast Season 3 Episode 115. Goodbye.
Welcome.
Welcome to the Everything Podcast, Season 3, Episode 116, recorded on the 4th of May 2024, released on the 10th of May 2024, and in this episode I'm going to be previewing Doctor Who Season 1, Episode 2, titled The Devil's Cord. So in the last episode I previewed even Doctor Who Season 1, Episode 1, Space Babies. Without further ado, here is my preview of Doctor Who Season 1, Episode 2, titled The Devil's Cord. It releases, as does Space Babies, on the 11th of May at midnight GMT. It stars Shooter Gatwa, Millie Gibson, Jinx Monsoon, Chris Mason, George Capel, Philip Davies, James Hoyles, Ed White, Josie Sedgwick Davies, Kit Rackerson, Jerry Limp and June Hudson. The Devil's Cord is written by Russ T Davies and directed by Ben Chessel. This episode involves the Doctor and Ruby meeting the Beatles whilst they're recording their first album. We have a quote from The Devil's Cord, which is as follows. Doctor, I'm sorry, but the power of these creatures is so vast the whole world could slide into the pit. We know that the villain for The Devil's Cord is Maestro, played by Jinx Monsoon. So yes, that is my preview for Doctor Who Season 1, Episode 2, titled The Devil's Cord. So, by the time tomorrow's episode releases, both Space Babies and The Devil's Cord will have been released. But let me know what you thought about my preview for The Devil's Cord and maybe what you're looking forward to it in the comments below. And as well as any review suggestions for TV shows or movies. But remember, you can also like, comment, and subscribe. And that's it for the Everything Podcast, Season 3, Episode 116. Goodbye. What? There we are. Am I streaming? Yes, apparently I am. So we're just going to go with it. Yay! So, welcome to the Everything Podcast, and in this live stream, I am going to, but before I do that, I'm going to be, if the title doesn't give it away enough, I'm going to be reviewing the, yes, I'm not showing up. I assume it's gone live. Let's just check because it tells me if I have. I just need to make sure, which I am. Yay! There we go. So yes, let's just see how everything's looking. Don't go why I'm not showing now. Yes, it's all working, which is good news. But yes, in this live stream, I'm going to be reviewing the first 2 episodes of Doctor Who, season 1, titled "Space Babies and the Devil's Cord." Now, spoiler warning. Now, this live stream will obviously contain spoilers. So without there's that out of the way. But yes, we're going to get on with it. So we're going to start off obviously with episode 1, which is titled Space Babies. So yes, I don't yes. It stars the Doctor, played by Shooty Gatwa, Ruby Sunday, who is played by Millie Gibson, Jocelyn Sankiara, played by Golda Rushavel, Carla Sunday, played by Michelle Greenidge, Cherry Sunday, played by Angela Winter, Eric, played by Macon McCluskey. The voice of Eric is Sammy Amber. Poppy is played by Sienna Robin Mavanga Phillips. The voice of Poppy is Shola Atian Albigi. The voice of Sandra is Cadence Williams. The voice of Marcel is Param Patel. The voice of Johnny is Lonia Archibong. Rico Trieste is played by Jesus Reyes Ortiz. Lucia Crisanto is played by Yasmin Buldeed, and Bogeyman is played by Robert Strange. Space Babies is written by Rusty Davis and directed by Julianne Robinson. So before we get into full-on spoilers, here are my opinion on this episode. I love the scenes with the Doctor and Ruby with the babies. I enjoyed seeing the babies save the Doctor and Ruby. I liked Carla and Cherry's reaction to the TARDIS crash landing in their flats. Without further ado, here is my review. Well, we'll just see, just to check that everything's how it's meant to be. I'm still annoyed as why it's not working, but there we go. Yeah, so if I do that, does that happen? No, it doesn't. Right. Webcam. Right. Okay, let's try the other one then. Oh geez, that's not good. Let's go back to the other one. Ah, there we are. There's me again. Oh yeah. There we are. So you can see my face there. So without further ado, here is my review. That's not what I want. Bear with me a second. There we are. Here is my review of Space Babies. We have the title sequence, and the Doctor introduces himself to Ruby. The Doctor tells Ruby why the TARDIS looks like a 1960s police box. Ruby gets the Doctor to open up about his adopted home planet Gallifrey no longer existing. The Doctor tells Ruby he is the last of the Time Lords. The Doctor takes Ruby to 150 million years in the past. They encounter dinosaurs. The Doctor mocks Ruby's suggestion of stepping on a butterfly change history. Ruby steps on a butterfly and turns into a reptile-looking creature. The the Doctor rescues the butterfly, turning reptile Ruby back into human Ruby. The Doctor and Ruby land on a space station in the year 21,506. The Doctor and Ruby meet and run away from the Bogeyman. The Doctor and Ruby realise that they are on a baby farm. The Doctor references his and Ruby's previous adventure as shown in the 2023 Christmas special, The Church on Ruby Road. The Doctor is offended when Ruby suggests that the babies are used for food. The Doctor and Ruby have landed on the planet Pacifico del Rio. The Doctor shows Ruby the TARDIS's translation circuit in action. The Doctor boosts the signal on Ruby's phone. Ruby calls Carla. The calls Carla. The Doctor and Ruby encounter a talking baby. The baby believes that the Doctor and Ruby are their parents. The Doctor and Ruby meet all the space babies. Poppy tells the Doctor and Ruby about the day their parents abandoned them. The Doctor and Ruby tell Poppy that they are not her parents. Ruby introduces herself and the Doctor to Eric. Poppy tells the Doctor that she has never been hugged. The Doctor informs the babies about the crew members of the space station abandoning them. The Doctor reassures Poppy. The Doctor tells Poppy about his parents abandoning him. The Doctor and Ruby meet Nanny. The space babies simultaneously blow their noses. The space babies cry when the Doctor mentions the bogeyman. Ruby apologizes to the space babies. The Doctor talks to Nanny through a headset. The Doctor and Ruby follow Nanny's instructions. The Doctor remembers encountering Ruby's birth mother in the church on Ruby Road. The Doctor and Ruby meet Nanny in real life. Nanny shows the Doctor and Ruby videos of the crew members signing out of the space station. Nanny tells the Doctor her real name, which is Jocelyn, as I talked about when I went through the cast list. The Doctor attaches his Sonic to a machine to help fix the space station. Jocelyn tells the Doctor and Ruby the real reason she doesn't spend time with the babies face to face. Jocelyn tells the Doctor and Ruby about a refugee planet. The Doctor and Ruby are surprised when Jocelyn reveals she doesn't know what the Bogeyman is. Eric stands up to the Bogeyman against the Doctor, Ruby, and Jocelyn's advice. The Doctor and Ruby attempt to distract the Bogeyman from attacking Eric. The Doctor and Ruby find Eric alive and well. The Doctor, Ruby, and Eric are being chased by the Bogeyman. The other space babies save the Doctor, Ruby, and Eric. The space babies return to their room. The Doctor tries to convince Ruby to go back with the space babies. This is unsuccessful. Jocelyn tells the Doctor and Ruby about the origins of the Bogeyman. Jocelyn guides the Doctor and Ruby to a machine to discover what the Bogeyman is made out of. Ruby gets covered in goo. The Doctor tells Ruby that the Bogeyman is made out of snot, so Ruby is not covered in just goo, it is actually snot. The Doctor laughs at Ruby being covered in snot. Jocelyn uh, plans on killing the Bogeyman. The Doctor and Ruby hatch a plan to stop Jocelyn. The Doctor realizes that the Bogeyman is the last of its kind. The Doctor saves the Bogeyman. Ruby stops Jocelyn. Uh, Ruby comforts Jocelyn. Jocelyn apologizes to the space babies. The Doctor shows the space babies that the Bogeyman is still alive. The Doctor gives Ruby a TARDIS key. The Doctor tells Ruby that he can never take her to the day she was abandoned by her birth mother. The TARDIS crash lands into Ruby's flat. The Doctor and Ruby reunite with Carla and Cherry, and the episode finishes off with the Devil's Call trailer, which I will not be talking about because I'll be reviewing that very soon. But before we get on to the Devil's Call, just to see if there's anything I need to see. No, so no comments or any. Well, no comments. There's nothing else as of yet. Because I haven't reached the watch time necessary, so you can't join, or which you may have seen in other channels, or super thanks or super chats. Super thanks is for videos, super chats is for what's the word? Live streams. That's the word. What I'm doing right now. But without further ado, it's now time for me to speak about the Devil's Cord. So, starring in the Devil's Cord, we have the Doctor, played by Shooter Gatwa, Ruby Sunday, played by Mila Gibson, Maestro, played by Jinx Monsoon, Timothy Jake, played by Jeremy Lim, Henry, played by Kit Rakusen, T Trolley Lady, played by Shireen Kara Anderson, George Martin, played by Ed White, Paul McCartney, played by George Capel, John Lennon, played by Chris Mason, George Harrison, played by Philip Davies, even Ringo Starr, played by James Hoyles, studio producer, played by Chan Stoker, Cilla Black, played by Josie Sedgwick Davies again, the Tea Lady, played by Susan Twist, Vinny, played by Simon Jason Smith, the Elderly Woman, played by Laura Joan Hudson. We then have Murray Gold, Shirley Ballas, and Johannes Radaby all playing themselves. The writer of The Devil's Cord is Russell T Davis. The Devil's Cord is directed by Ben Chesler. My opinion on The Devil's Cord is I loved the song at the end. I enjoyed Jinx Monsoon as Maestro, and I liked that it was the Beatles that saved the world. So here's my review, my spoiler review. Again, spoiler alert and spoiler warning. Here is my review for The Devil's Cord. In 1925, a music lesson takes place. Maestro introduces themselves. The child taking part in the music lesson is the son of Maestro. Maestro refers to Timothy Drake as a genius. Maestro plays the Doctor Who theme song. We then have the title sequence. Ruby asks the Doctor if they can go and meet the Beatles whilst they're recording their first album. The Doctor agrees with Ruby. The Doctor and Ruby change into 1960s clothes. The Doctor and Ruby arrive in 1963, where the Beatles, while even the Beatles are recording their first album, the Doctor and Ruby sneak their way into meeting the Beatles. The Doctor and Ruby see the Beatles and Cilla Black perform. Uh, the Doctor and Ruby also see an orchestra perform badly. The Doctor and Ruby discover that history is changing. Ruby questions John Lennon. The Doctor questions Paul McCartney. Maestro appears in Reflections. The Doctor reflections. Yes, the Doctor and Ruby discuss the ramifications of no music. The Doctor references himself as the first Doctor as well as his granddaughter Susan. Ruby plays the piano and accidentally summons Maestro. The Doctor and Ruby run away from Maestro. Maestro introduces themselves to the Doctor and Ruby. The Doctor uses his sonic to distract Maestro. Maestro kills an elderly woman. The Doctor explains who the toy maker is to Ruby. Ruby tries to reassure the Doctor. The Doctor and Ruby find out what Earth would look like if Maestro wins. The Doctor consoles Ruby. The Doctor and Ruby come face to face with Maestro for the first time. The Doctor introduces himself to Maestro. Maestro reveals that they are a child of the toy maker. Maestro sings. Maestro wants music without singers. Maestro references this episode's opening scene. Maestro gains control of the TARDIS. The Doctor apologizes to the TARDIS. The Doctor regains control of the TARDIS. Maestro catches Ruby. Maestro gets the best of the Doctor. Maestro intimidates the Doctor. Uh, Ruby seems to be defeating Maestro. Maestro references one of their siblings. Maestro challenges the Doctor to a music battle. The Doctor nearly defeats Maestro. Maestro captures the Doctor and Ruby. The Beatles save the world as well as the Doctor and Ruby. Maestro is banished. Maestro warns the Doctor that the one who waits is almost here, which goes back to the giggle, the third and final 60th anniversary special for Doctor Who, where the Toymaker also mentions about the one who waits. Music has returned, and the Doctor and Ruby sing and dance, and the episode finishes off with the boob trailer, which I will be talking about very soon. But let's just check if there's any comments or anything that I need to be aware of, which there doesn't seem to be. So next up, I will be doing a preview for the next episode of Doctor Who to be released, which is Boom, which releases I'm actually going to talk about that. So here is my preview for Doctor Who Season 1, Episode 3, titled Boom. Boom releases on the 18th of May at 12 a.m. GMT. It stars the Doctor, played by Ncuti Gatwa, Ruby Sunday, played by Millie Gibson, John Francis Vatter, played by Joe Anderson, Carson, played by Majid Mandizara Vajirdi, Carson, no, I've done that. Splice, Alison Vater, played by Colin Springwell. Canterbury James Oliphant, played by Bath Joshi, and Ambulance, played by Susan Twist. Boom is written by Stephen Moffat and directed by Julianne Robinson. It takes place on a alien battlefield. We have a quote from Boom where Ruby says, "Where are we?" The Doctor says, "In the middle of a war." Ruby says, "I was kind of hoping for a beach." Doctor says, "What do you call this?" Ruby replies, "Not a beach." Doctor says, "Give it time. Everywhere's a beach eventually." This episode's villain is currently unknown. It may be revealed before the episode broadcasts. Or there might not be a villain at all, which is possible. And here is my breakdown for the trailer for Boom, released at the end of The Devil's Cord. The Doctor and Ruby try to figure out where they are. The Doctor runs towards something. The Doctor steps on a landmine. Ruby seems concerned. The Doctor and Ruby cry. The landmine turns from green to red. The Doctor screams, and Ruby shouts for the Doctor. That is my preview of the third episode of Season 1 of Doctor Who, titled Boom, and that's actually it for this live stream. So there hasn't been any comments, unless I've missed them, which I don't think I have. No. So let me know what you thought about those episodes in the comments below. Or if you watched them, my reviews if you didn't. And remember, you can also put any TV show or movie suggestions in the comments below. You can also like, comment, and subscribe. And that's it for this live stream for the Everything Podcast. Welcome to the Everything Podcast, and in this episode I'm going to be covering 2 Doctor Who things. So first of all, I'll be reviewing Season 1 Episode 3 titled Boom, and then I will be doing a preview for Season 1 Episode 4 titled 73 Yards. I'm bundling them together because I forgot to record my review for Episode 3 Boom. But before we get to any of that, it is time for the trailer for Doctor Who, which you may or may has been copyrighted. You won't see it, obviously, but if it hasn't, which I hope is the case with some of the others, because of how I do these non-animated episodes, then but you never know, because for Class I did exactly like this, but because it was BBC, they blocked it. Whereas, well, I'm using the Disney trailer, so we'll see if that makes a difference. But without further ado, here is the Doctor Who trailer. The Doctor Who Season 1 trailer, I mean, here it is.
Give me the love.
Where did he come from? I don't know, he sort of popped up at the right moment. And then he spoke about time travel.
Ruby, you wanna know my secret? I have the whole universe at my fingertips. And I'm all on my own. I'd love it if you came with me.
Who are you?
I'm the Doctor. It's called the TARDIS. It's a time and space machine.
Is it safe?
No idea.
What if I change history by stepping on a butterfly?
Well, that's not gonna happen, is it?
Oh, what's wrong?
With all my adventures, never seen anything like this before.
Oh my Bridgerton! This place is completely mad.
Things seem to be turning more and more supernatural.
Is that monster?
No, don't be silly. There's no such thing as monsters. They're just creatures you haven't met yet. There are powers beyond the universe, so vast. The whole world could slide into the pit. This is what we're trying to stop.
I'm still her mom. I need to know she'll be okay. You'll keep her safe?
I will keep her safe. I promise.
It's taken me all this time to realize what me We're gonna save the world.
Everything is possible. Everything is possible. Time may change me.
I apologise for the technical difficulties currently for the last couple of seconds of the trailer. So we're just going to hopefully wait, and hopefully it will do what it should do. And yes, hopefully you will be able to see the last 5-10 seconds. Ah, there you go, see? Oh no, now it's buffering.
But I can't trace time.
That was the Disney Plus trailer for Doctor Who. So yes, as I said, next up I'll be talking about Boom, which if I can find, because I've got all my reviews open at the moment until I have recorded them. So hopefully, there we are, there's my Boom review on the way. So here we go. So Boom, the Doctor, played by Shooter Gatwa, Ruby Sunday, played by Millie Gibson, John Francis Vater, played by Joe Anderson, Carson, played by Majasa Fajirdi, Splice, Alison Vater, played by Colin Springall, Canterbury, James Elephant, played by Beth Joshi, and Ambulance, played by Susan Twist. The writer of Boom was Stephen Moffat, and the director was Julie Ann Robinson. The synopsis for this episode is that the Doctor is caught in the Doctor Ruby, even caught in the middle of a devastating war on Castastrian. 3. The Doctor is trapped when he steps on a landmine. Can he save himself and Ruby plus the entire planet without moving? Boom was released on the 18th of May 2024. My opinion is that I loved how small the cast for this episode was in comparison to the last episode. Stephen Moffat returned to write this episode, his first episode of Doctor Who since 2017's Twice Upon a Time, and Stephen will write the 2024 Christmas special as confirmed in the video commentary version of this episode, which is currently available on BBC iPlayer in the Whoniverse section and video commentaries, I think it is. But without further ado, here is my review of Boom. John is assisted by Carson to avoid the landmines. John communicates with his daughter Splice. Mundy, played by Varada Sethu, who will play a season 2 companion, which we didn't actually know about, which is why I didn't go through who Varada Sethu was playing in the starring bit, because we didn't know. Yes, so we do know that Varada Sethu will play the other season 2 companion alongside Millie Gibson playing Ruby Sunday. Anyway, back to review. Monday, played by Varada Sethu, who will play season 2 companion, tries to convince James to swap shifts with her. Carson steps on a landmine and is killed. John is killed for being blind. The Doctor runs out of the TARDIS and steps on a landmine. We then have the title sequence. Ruby locks the TARDIS. The Doctor sings so that Ruby knows his location. Ruby learns that the Doctor is on a landmine. Ruby explains the landmine to the Doctor. The Doctor explains the purpose of the landmine to Ruby. Ruby explains the landmine to the Doctor. The Doctor explains the purpose of the landmine to Ruby. Yeah, the Doctor gets distracted, telling Ruby his previous encounter with this type of landmine. Ruby finds dead John. The Doctor tells Ruby that what planet they are on. The Doctor gets distracted by using a new word. The Doctor shows off to Ruby. Ruby chooses to put herself in danger to help the Doctor. Ruby reminds the Doctor of his current predicament. The Doctor speaks to John in hologram form. The Doctor and Ruby meet Splice. Splice is looking for John. Splice reveals to Ruby and the Doctor that her mother is dead. The Doctor and Ruby introduce themselves to Splice. Ruby stops Splice from reaching the landmine. Ruby shows Splice the landmine. Monday points a gun at Ruby and the Doctor. The Doctor recounts his encounter with sentient mud to Monday. Monday shoots the Doctor's hand multiple times. Ruby begs Monday to stop. Ruby arms herself with a gun. Ruby is shot. Snow appears and time freezes. The Doctor reveals to Monday that he is a Time Lord. The Doctor suggests that Monday and her species surrender. The Doctor gives John an order. The Doctor has 3 minutes until the landmine explodes. and James can declare their love to each other. James dies. James recorded a goodbye message for Monday. Monday sees this message. Monday blames herself for James's death. John in hologram form. None of John's hologram form has been deleted. John saves the Doctor. Ruby is brought back to life. The Doctor celebrates still being alive and being able to move freely again. The Doctor and Ruby say goodbye to Monday and Splice, and the episode finishes off with a trailer for 73 yards. And coming up next will be my preview for 73 yards, if I can find it. That is there. 73 yards is there. So what do we currently know about 73 yards? As when this is coming out, it will be coming out tomorrow, most likely. So we know that 73 yards stars the Doctor, played by Ncuti Gatwa, Ruby Sunday, played by Millie Gibson, Enrid Meadows, played by Sean Phillips, Roger A.P. Gwilliam, played by Anne Barnard, Laurie Pellin, played by Maxine Evans, the Woman, played by Hilary Hobson, Hiker, played by Susan Twist, Joshua Steele, played by Sean Pritchard, Ifa Jones, played by Gwen Morris Jones, Thin Lucy, played by Alan Davis, Eddie Jones, played by Glyn Pritchard, and also features Myers Ukini, Sophie Elpid, Shane David Joseph, and Amanda Walker. The writer for 73 Yards is Russell T Davis, and the director is Dylan Holmes Williams. The synopsis for 73 Yards is as follows. Landing on the Welsh coast, the Doctor and Ruby embark on the strangest journey of their lives. In a rain-lashed pub, the locals sit in fear of ancient legends coming to life. 73 Yards will be released, as I said, tomorrow, the 25th of May 2024, at 12 a.m. GMT, which is 7 p.m. Eastern time, or whatever that is. Yes, it's a lot of time zones there. But yes, that's it for this episode of the podcast, which I actually thought would be slightly longer. Obviously, a preview is shorter than an actual review, which is why. So let me know what you thought about Boom. What you thought about Boom, if you watched it, as well as my review for Boom and my preview for 73 Yards. You can do all of that in the comments below. Is there anything you want to cover you want me to cover on the channel? A TV show, a movie, or something completely different? But as the title of the channel suggests, everything is covered there. And yes, and remember, you can also like, comment, and subscribe. And that's it for this episode of the Everything Podcast. Goodbye. Welcome to the Everything Podcast, and in this episode I'm going to be reviewing Doctor Who Season 1 Episode 4, titled 73 Yards. But before I get to that and the cast list and all of the usual stuff, it's time for the trailer. So here is the Doctor Who Season 1 trailer.
Give me the loving!
Where did he come from?
I don't know, he sort of popped up at the right moment. And then he spoke about time travel.
Ruby, you wanna know my secret? I have the whole universe at my fingertips. And I'm all on my own. I'd love it if you came with me.
Who are you?
I'm the Doctor. It's called the TARDIS. It's a time and space machine.
Is it safe?
No idea.
What if I changed you through by stepping on a butterfly?
Well, that's not gonna happen, is it?
Oh, what's wrong?
With all my adventures, never seen anything like this before.
Oh my, Bridgerton! This place is completely mad.
Things seem to be turning more and more supernatural.
Is that monster?
No, don't be silly. There's no such thing as monsters. It's just creatures you haven't met yet. There are powers beyond the universe, so vast. The whole world could slide into the pit. This is what we're trying to stop.
I'm still Mum. I need to know she'll be okay. You'll keep us safe?
I will keep us safe. I promise.
It's taken me all this time to realize what I'm here to do. I'm gonna save the world.
Everything is possible. Everything is possible.
Time may change me, but I can't trace time.
That was the trailer for one. So, yes, now it's time to on episode 4, titled 73 Yards. But before I get to my review, it's the usual. So, we're starting off with the cast list, which is the Doctor, played by Shooty Gatwa, Ruby Sunday, played by Millie Gibson, Enid Meadows, played by Sean Phillips, Roger A.P. Gwilliam, played by Anrin Barnard, Laurie Palin, played by Maxine Evans, the woman, played by Hilary Hobson, Hiker, played by Susan Twist, Joshua Steele, played by Sean Pritchard, Ethel Jones, played by Gwen Morris Jones, Thin Lucy, played by Alan Davis, Eddie Jones, played by Gwen Pritchard, and 73 Yards also features Miles Ukili, Sophie Ablett, Shane David Joseph, and Amanda Walker. The writer of 73 Yards was Russell T Davis, with the director being Dylan Holmes Williams. The synopsis for 73 Yards is: landing on the Welsh coast, the Doctor and Ruby embark on the strangest journey of their lives. In a rain-lashed pub, the locals sit in fear of ancient legends coming to life. 73 Yards was released on the 25th of May 2024 at 12 a.m. GMT. My opinion on this episode is I loved how Ruby-centric this episode is, and I liked the inclusion of Kate. I enjoyed the time travel scenes, and now it's time for my review of 73 Yards. Here it is. So the TARDIS materialises on top of a cliff. The Doctor informs Ruby that they are in Wales. Ruby tells the Doctor about her previous visits to Wales. The Doctor tells Ruby about Roger A.P. Gwilliam. The Doctor steps on something and the Doctor disappears. Ruby asks a woman about the whereabouts of the Doctor. Ruby encounters a hiker. Ruby recognizes the hiker's face. Ruby witnesses the woman terrorize the hiker. Ruby enters a Welsh pub. Ruby explains what Google/Apple Pay is to the landlady. The other customers at the pub take the mick out of Ruby. Ruby asks the landlady and the other customers about the woman following her. The woman terrorizes one of the pub customers. The landlady and the pub customers scare Ruby with the myth of Mad Jack. The landlady gives Ruby some spare clothes. The landlady asks Ruby to leave. Ruby says goodbye to the Doctor through saying goodbye to the TARDIS. Ruby uses a train to return home. Ruby returns home and reunites with Cherry and Carla. Just wrote it the other way around. Ruby tells Carla about the woman following her. Carla encounters the woman. Ruby speaks to Mrs. Flood. Carla abandons Ruby and Cherry. Ruby tells Cherry about Carla leaving. Ruby is unable to get into her own house. Carla asks Ruby to stop calling her. Carla references Ruby being abandoned by her birth mother. Ruby meets Kate Stewart, played by Gemma Redgrave. The reason why she's not in the cast list is because she wasn't known before the episode went up. Kate introduces herself to Ruby. Ruby tells Kate that Carla has taken legal action against her. Kate explains what unit is to Ruby. Kate also explained the TARDIS's perception filter. Ruby tells Kate that the woman is always 73 yards behind her. Kate reassures Ruby about unit training. Kate issues orders to the unit soldiers. The woman speaks to Kate. Ruby breaks a plate. Ruby turns 25, then 30, then 40. Ruby finds out that Roger A.P. Gwilliam used to be known as Mad Jack, as the Doctor mentioned at the start of the episode. Ruby plans on saving the world. Ruby joins Roger's election campaign team. Ruby witnesses Amal Rajan interviewing Roger. Same with Kate Stewart, played by Gemma Redgrave, not in the cast list because it wasn't previously announced. Roger wants to spend an insane amount of money on nuclear weapons. Roger asks Ruby about Marty. Roger becomes Prime Minister. Ruby talks to Marty about Roger. Roger's campaign team arrive at Cardiff City Stadium. Roger is waiting for the nuclear codes and wants to declare the UK independent from NATO. Ruby apologises to Marty. Ruby makes Roger resign as Prime Minister. The woman is still following Ruby. The woman is an older Ruby. Older Ruby visits the TARDIS. Older Ruby never found out who her birth mother was. Older Ruby's in hospital. The Doctor reappears and the woman vanishes, and the episode finishes off with the trailer for Dr. Bubble, Doctor Who Season 1, Episode 5. And I've already recorded that preview for Dr. Bubble, so it's going to be slightly out of date. But as I mentioned in the preview for 73 Yards and Dot and Bubble and Rogue and The Legend of Ruby Sunday and the Season 1 finale, Empire of Death, that I recorded them back to back, so they were all there, so I didn't have to think about, oh, I've got another episode to record it. They're just all done. But yes, let me know what you thought of 73 Yards in the comments below. If you watched it, if you didn't, you can put both of your thoughts on those in the comments below, as well with anything you want me to cover on the channel. It could be a TV show or a movie suggestion or something completely different. And remember, you can also like, comment, and subscribe. And that's it for this episode of the Everything Podcast. Goodbye. Welcome to the Everything Podcast, and in this episode I'm going to be previewing Doctor Who Season 1 Episode 5, titled Dr. Bubble. So the information in the Doctor Who preview episodes, which are obviously separate from the animated and non-animated because of the time that they release, they are going to be recorded all in advance. So I'm recording this video and hopefully all of the so Rogue for episode 6, The Legend of Ruby Sunday episode 7, and Empire of Death episode 8. I hope to record all of the previews so they're ready, so I don't have to think about doing them. So they're done. You'll be able to see that they're there, but obviously you won't be able to watch them. Oh, will you? Anyway, so yes, if there's some information that is not quite up to date, like cast list might be the biggest one, don't worry, because when I review it, obviously I can't review it until it's come out. So yes, that's it. But before I get to the cast list and my preview for Dot and Bubble, it is time for the trailer. So here is the Doctor Who Season 1 trailer. Enjoy.
Give me the loving!
Where did he come from?
I don't know, he sort of popped up at the right moment. And then he spoke about time travel.
Ruby, you wanna know my secret? I have the whole universe at my fingertips. And I'm all on my own. I'd love it if you came with me.
Who are you?
I'm the Doctor. It's called the TARDIS. It's a time and space machine.
Is it safe?
No idea.
What if I change history by stepping on a butterfly?
Well, that's not gonna happen, is it?
Oh, what's wrong?
With all my adventures, never seen anything like this before.
Oh my, Bridgerton! This place is completely mad.
Things seem to be turning more and more supernatural.
Is that a monster?
No, don't be silly. There's no such thing as monsters. They're just creatures you haven't met yet. There are powers beyond the universe, so vast. The whole world could slide into the pit. Is this what we're trying to stop?
I'm still her mum. I need to know she'll be okay. You'll keep her safe?
I will keep her safe. I promise.
It's taken me all this time to realize what I'm here to do. We're gonna save the world.
Everything is possible. Everything is possible.
Time may change me, but I can't trace time.
That was the trailer for Doctor Who Season 1. Which one is it? That one. For Doctor Who Season 1. So here is the preview for Dr. Bubble now. Here we go. So it stars the Doctor, played by Ncuti Gatwa, Ruby Sunday, played by Millie Gibson. Lindy Pepperbean, played by Cal Cook. Ricky September, played by Tom Rhys-Harris. Cooper Mercy, played by Ilka Lone. Harry Tendency, played by Algis Calico Squire. Hoochie Pie, played by Neve Lynch. We have Valerie Nook, played by Millie Kent. Blake Very Blue, played by Billy Brayshaw. Gothic Paul, played by Pete McHale. Dr. P, played by Max Boast. Rotterdam Twin 1, played by Eloise Bennett. And Rotterdam Twin 2, played by Olivia Bennett. Weatherman Will, played by Jack Forsyth Noble. Anna K. Sullivan, played by Milo Callahan. Penny Pepperbean, played by Susan Twist. Susie Pentecost, played by Eddie Grace Cashin. Brewster Cavendish, played by Jamie Barnard. And that is the cast list for Dr. Bubble. Dr. Bubble is written by Rusty Davis and directed by Dylan Holmes Williams. The synopsis for this episode is that the world of Fine Time seems happy and harmonious, but an awful terror is preying on the citizens. Can the Doctor and Ruby make them see the truth before it's too late? Dr. Bubble will release on the 1st of June 2024 at 12 a.m. GMT. And yes, that is my preview for Dot and Bubble. So let me know in the comments below what you're most excited about Dot Bubble, or what you've enjoyed about the first 4 episodes of Doctor Who Season 1 as well. And you can do those in the comments below as well with anything you want me to cover on the channel. So it could be TV show or movie suggestion, or it could be something completely different. But remember, as I said, you can do that in the comments. So remember, you can also like, comment and subscribe. And that's it for this episode of the Everything Podcast. Goodbye. Welcome to the Everything Podcast, and in this episode I'm going to be reviewing Season 1, Episode 5 of Doctor Who, titled Dot and Bubble, before I get to the cast list for Dot and Bubble, as well as my review. And at the end of the episode, I will tell you what's coming up in the next episode as well, so that's what we've got to look forward to. But before all that, it is time for the trailer for Doctor Who Season 1. Here it is.
Give me the loving!
Where did he come from?
I don't know, he sort of popped up at the right moment. And then he spoke about time travel.
Ruby, do you want to know my secret? I have the whole universe at my fingertips. And I'm all on my own. I'd love it if you came with me.
Who are you?
I'm the Doctor. It's called the TARDIS. It's a time and space machine.
Is it safe?
No idea.
What if I change history by stepping on a butterfly?
Well, that's not gonna happen, is it?
Oh, what's wrong?
All my adventures, never seen anything like this before.
Oh my, Bridgerton! This place is completely mad.
Things seem to be turning more and more supernatural.
Is that monster?
No, don't be silly. There's no such thing as monsters. They're just creatures you haven't met yet. There are powers beyond the universe, so vast. The whole world could slide into the pit. This is what we're trying to stop.
I'm still in, Mom. I need to know she'll be okay. You'll keep her safe?
I will keep her safe. I promise.
It's taken me all this time to realize what I'm here to do. I'm gonna save the world.
Everything is possible. Everything is possible.
Time may change me, but I can't trace time.
Was the trailer for Doctor Who. So yes, coming up next will be, or now actually, will be me reviewing Dot and Bubble. But before I get there, I would just like to apologise for my voice during the non-animated episode that released yesterday, but I'm recording it on the same day, but it's all like normal podcast timing stuff. Yes, for some reason, I just when I was speaking, it just wasn't coming out as like it normally does, like it is now. So yes, I apologise for that. But coming up next is the cast list for Dr. Bubble, which as follows. So obviously we have the Doctor played by Shooter Gatwa and Ruby Sunday played by Millie Gibson. Obviously they're in every episode of season one in varying degrees, as proven in Dot and Bubble and 73 Yards, especially when it comes to Shooting Atwa's Doctor. We also have Lindy Pepperbean, played by Kelly Cook, Ricky September, played by Tom Reese Harris, Cooper Mercy, played by Il Lone, Harry Tendency, played by Eludus Close Squire. We have Hughie Pie player Neve Lynch, Valerie Nook, played by Millie Kent, Blake Very Blue, played by Brilly Bradshaw. Yes, there's a lot of beats there. Gothic Paul, played by Pete McHale, Dr. P, played by Max Boast, the Rotterdam twins, played by Eloise and Olivia Bennett. The Weatherman Will was played by Jack Forsyth Noble. Alan K. Sullivan is played by Milo Callahan. Penny Pepperbean is played by Susan Twist, actor who has been in every single episode of Doctor Who Season 1, plus Wild Beyond the second and middle 60th anniversary special, as well as the Christmas, or the 2023 Christmas special, The Church on Ruby Road. And we also have Susie Pentecost, played by Ellie Grace Cashin, and Brewster Cavendish, played by Jamie Barnard. Barnard, who is the surname of Andrew Barnard, who played Roger William in 73 Yards, which my review for that is already on the channel, so go check that out. The writer of Dr. Bubble is Rusty Davis, and the director is Dylan Holmes Williams. You will notice that both Russell and Dylan, respectively, wrote and directed 73 Yards as well. So yes, so the synopsis for this episode is: the world of Fine Time seems happy and harmonious, but an awful terror is preying on the citizens. Can the Doctor and Ruby make them see the truth before it's too late? This Dot Bubble was released on the 1st of June 2024 at 12 a.m. GMT. My opinion is I love seeing the return of the title sequence following there being no title sequence in 73 Yards, because spoiler alert, you probably watched it already, either my review or the episode. The Doctor's barely in it. So that's probably why. And I enjoyed seeing the Doctor Ruby in virtual form, and I like seeing the Doctor still wanting to help Lindy even after she called him different to them. So yes, but without further ado, here's my review for Dr. Bubble. After my review, I'll be talking about what's coming up on the channel in the near future. Lindy wakes up and activates her Dot and Bubble and sees what all of her virtual friends have been up to. Lindy is unable to connect even with one of her virtual friends. Paul mentions to Lindy about multiple missing virtual friends. Lindy's doc gives Lindy instructions to follow, including when to stand up and when to go to the toilet. The Doctor warns Lindy. Lindy blocks the Doctor. A slug appears. We then have the title sequence. Lindy's doc also tells Lindy where to walk. Lindy can use her bubble when walking. Someone is killed without Lindy knowing about it. Lindy arrives at work. Paul warns Lindy about more missing people. Ruby introduces herself to Lindy. Lindy calls Ruby stupid multiple times. Every person on Fine Time works 2 hours a day every day. Lindy tells Ruby the name of her work colleagues. Gothic Paul continues to warn Lindy about missing people. Lindy, with some assistance from Ruby, learns that all of her work colleagues are missing. Lindy reluctantly does what Ruby asks her to. Multiple times. Lindy sees one of the slugs. Lindy also listens to Ruby regarding deactivating both her Dot and Bubble. Lindy tries to calm herself down after seeing one of the slugs eating someone. Ruby introduces the Doctor to Lindy. The Doctor and Ruby disagree over what to and what not to tell Lindy about her current situation. Lindy is unable to walk correctly without her Dot and Bubble. Lindy tells Ruby and the Doctor about this. Lindy walks with some assistance from her Dot and Bubble. Lindy narrowly avoids being eaten by one of the slugs. Lindy is unable to get in touch with the police force. Ruby promises Lindy that the Doctor and she will save her. Doctor and her will save her, I think. Yes, I don't think the Doctor and she is perfect English, but never mind. The Doctor apologises to Lindy. Lindy tells Ruby and the Doctor what she is seeing. Lindy, with help from her Dot and Bubble, finds Lindy find yes, well, that sense doesn't make sense again. Lindy, with help from her Dot and Bubble, finds. Oh no, it does. finds somewhere to hide from the slugs. Lindy explains the forbidden section of Fine Time to Dr. Ruby. Lindy explains what Fine Time is to Ruby and the Doctor. Within this explanation, Lindy tells the Doctor and Ruby only rich people aged between 17 and 27 are allowed to attend Fine Time. Ruby compares Fine Time to Love Island, which is a TV show. There's different versions of it as well. Ruby and the Doctor recognise the face of Lindy's mother. Lindy believes that the Doctor and Ruby is not telling her that they are currently in the same room is a conspiracy theory. The Doctor showcases his sonic screwdriver to Lindy. Lindy refers to Ruby and the Doctor as criminals. Lindy's best friend is also missing. Gothic Paul is eaten by one of the slugs. Lindy asks her virtual friends to listen to the Doctor. Lindy's dot and bubble runs out of charge. Lindy blames the Doctor and Ruby for this. Lindy headbutts a lamppost. Lindy survives being eaten by multiple slugs with some help from Ricky. Lindy and Ricky hug. This is Lindy's first ever hug. Ricky asks Lindy if it's okay that he holds her hand. Lindy is impressed at Ricky's walking ability. Ricky distracts Lindy from getting scared by the slugs. Lindy recharges her dot on bubble. Ricky learns that there is no one still alive on the homeworld. Ricky lies to Lindy about this. Ricky and Lindy find an escape path. This path is the one suggested by Ruby and the Doctor. Lindy and Ricky have never been paid with money. The Doctor and Ruby fancy Ricky. The Doctor calls Ricky smart. Ruby calls the Doctor a heartstopper. The Doctor informs Ruby, Ricky, and Lindy that the slugs are eating people in alphabetical order. Lindy is the next person to be eaten by the slugs. Ricky calms down Lindy. Lindy's dot attacks her and Ricky. Lindy gets her dot to kill Ricky so she can escape and live. Lindy meets Dr. Ruby in real life. Lindy reunites with one of her friends. Lindy lies to Ruby and the Doctor about the circumstances surrounding Ricky's death. Lindy thanks the Doctor and Ruby for the help. Lindy is introduced to a man who knows her. Lindy is informed of no one still being alive on the homeworld. The Doctor offers to help the remaining people on Fine Time. Lindy refuses to let the Doctor help her and the other people still alive on Fine Time due to a perception of him being different. The man who knew who Lindy was believes too much interaction with the Doctor is contamination. The Doctor yells, laughs, and gets angry, and the episode finishes off with a trailer for Season 1, Episode 6 of Doctor Who, titled Rogue. So that's my review for Season 1, Episode 5 of Doctor Who, titled Doctor Bubble. So yes, the trailer for Rogue is a good segue. So obviously my next Doctor Who review, or the next Doctor Who episode that you will see will be the preview for Rogue, but I've already recorded that, as becomes clear, because I mention it in all of the previews for all the remaining previews for Doctor Who Season 1. So yes, but the next episode you're going to see, which is going to be released, if you're watching this when this is being released, it's just over an hour away, but it is 8:30 a.m. GMT on whenever this is released. So yes, that is why that's the way it is. So yes, the neighbor. So the next episode, I don't know if I actually said what it is. So the next episode will be me reviewing the 22nd of January 2024 episode of Neighbours. So let me know what you thought about Dot and Bubble if you watched it. My review, if you didn't, you can put both your thoughts in the comments below. And also in the comments, remember, you can put anything that you would like me to cover on the channel. So it could be a TV show or a movie session or something completely different. Like, for example, someone I can't remember who has asked me to review some 1990s Marvel comics, which I am just before I recorded this episode. I was looking to see which comics I was going to do for that. So anything like that, it could be anything. It could be a book. It could be anything you want me to read. It could be the newspaper article if you want. But yes, so let me know. Oh, yes, you can put those in the comments below. And remember, you can also like, comment, and subscribe. And that's it for this episode of the Everything Podcast. Goodbye. Welcome to the Everything Podcast. And in this episode, I'm going to be previewing Doctor Who Season 1, Episode 6, titled Rogue. So as I mentioned in the Dot and Bubble preview, that I am recording the Dot and Bubble, Rogue, The Legend of Ruby Sunday, and Empire of Death previews all in one day, so they're all done. So I've not got to think about doing them, because that's why the Boom review and the 73 yards preview were in one episode, because I hadn't got on top of recording the preview, so I had to put it at the end of the review. So I'm going to try and do them separate because then it means more episodes, which is yay. So yes, but before I get to my preview of season 1, episode 6 of Doctor Who Rogue, it is time for the trailer. Here is the Doctor Who season 1 trailer.
Give me the loving!
Where did he come from?
I don't know, he sort of popped up at the right moment. And then he spoke about time travel.
Ruby, you wanna know my secret? I have the whole universe at my fingertips. And I'm all on my own. I'd love it if you came with me.
Who are you?
I'm the Doctor.
Time may change me.
It's called the TARDIS. It's a time and space machine.
Is it safe?
No idea.
What if I change history by stepping on a butterfly?
Well, that's not gonna happen, is it?
Oh, what's wrong?
With all my adventures, never seen anything like this before.
Oh my Bridgerton! This place is completely mad.
Things seem to be turning more and more supernatural.
Is that monster?
No, don't be silly. There's no such thing as monsters. They're just creatures you haven't met yet. There are powers beyond the universe, so vast. The whole world could slide into the pit. This is what we're trying to stop.
I'm still her mum. I need to know she'll be okay. You'll keep her safe?
I will keep her safe. I promise.
It's taken me all this time to realize what I'm here to do. I'm gonna save the world.
Everything is possible. Everything is possible.
Time may change me, but I can't trace time.
That was the trailer for Doctor Who season 1, which you will have seen in many episodes so far and to come. But yes, now it's time for my preview of Doctor Who season 1, episode 6, titled Rogue. So the cast list currently, the full one, isn't out yet, and as I've mentioned, I am recording the previews from Dot and Bubble all the way to Empire of Death all in one day, so they're all done. So I've not got to worry about recording those episodes on top of the reviews and the animated, non-animated episodes as well. Yes, so the current cast list for Rogue is quite small, and that is Shooter Gatwa as the Doctor, Millie Gibson as Ruby Sunday as Rogue, and India Ravana as the Duchess of Pemberton. So that cast list, when I review Rogue, probably will be significantly bigger. The writers of Rogue are Kate Herron and Briley Redman. Now, Kate Herron, I think, showran Loki, and the director of Rogue is Ben Chessel, who also directed season 1, episode 2, titled The Devil's Chord, which I have reviewed, and stars Jinx Monsoon as Maestro and the Beatles and Cilla Black and a massive dance and sing-song. No, it is dance at the end of the episode. But the synopsis for Rogue is that the Duchess of Pemberton's Ball is the highlight of the season, where the cream of Georgian society gather to dance, gossip, and flirt. So the Doctor and Ruby are having a whale of a time, but not everyone is who they seem to be. A tall, dark stranger is surveying the crowd. There's a drained corpse in the shrubbery. Will the Doctor and Ruby survive to see the sunrise? Rogue will release on the 8th of June 2024 at 12 a.m. GMT. And that is my preview for Doctor Who Season 1, Episode 6, titled Rogue. So let me know in the comments below what you are most looking forward to in Rogue and what you have enjoyed about the first 5 episodes of Doctor Who Season 1. And if you put your thoughts on both those things in the comments below, as well as a TV show or movie suggestion or something completely different that you would like me to cover on the channel. Remember, you can also like, comment, and subscribe. And that's it for this episode of the Everything Podcast. Goodbye.
Welcome.
Welcome to the Everything Podcast. Now this episode is going to start off a little bit differently. So as I mentioned in yesterday's episode, in this episode I'm reviewing Doctor Who Season 1 Episode 6 titled Rogue. Now before that there is something that I didn't know what episode to mention it in. So I thought because it's Doctor Who related I would mention it there. And that is the unfortunate passing of William Russell. And William Russell played one of the Doctor's first ever companions, Ian Chesterton, alongside William Hartnell as the first Doctor, Jacqueline Hill as Barbara Wright, and Carol Ann Ford as the Doctor's granddaughter, Susan Foreman. Now William Russell died at the age of 99, I believe. William Russell did though, however, because of his long lifespan, reprised his role in multiple Big Finish stories. I think I might be reviewing some of them at some point as well. No, I'm definitely reviewing one. As well as in the 2022 special The Power of the Doctor, which was kind of to celebrate the BBC's 100th birthday, which also saw Jodie Whittaker's 13th Doctor regenerate into David Tennant's 14th Doctor. William Russell obviously has played other roles outside of Doctor Who. So yes, our thoughts here at the Everything Podcast go to anyone who knew Our thoughts here at the Everything Podcast go to anyone who knew William Russell alongside his friends and family. To commemorate William Russell's life, I would like to take a minute to remember the life of William Russell. So yes, back to the scheduled episode that I'm talking about, which, as I said, is Doctor Who Season 1 Episode 6, titled Rogue. And before I get to my review, as usual, it's time for the cast list. So we have the Doctor, played by Ncuti Gatwa. No, I said that wrong. The Doctor, played by Ncuti Gatwa. So I have apologised. I do need to apologise. I've not said Ncuti's name properly, and that's because I didn't know it was any different, to be honest. It was only in a recent behind the scenes when Ncuti clarified what his actual name was, and that he didn't pronounce it right for, I think it didn't find out until he was 26, so apologies for that. We also have Ruby Sunday, played by Millie Gibson, Rogue, played by Jonathan Groff, the Duchess of Pemberton, played by Indira Varma, Lord Barton, played by Paul Foreman, Emily Beckett, played by Camilla Aiko, Carla Sunday, played by Michelle Greenidge, Lord Gelpin, played by Maxim Eyes, I'm going with, The Portrait, played by Susan Twist, The Housekeeper, played by Deborah Baker, The Butler, played by Ashley Campbell, Miss Talbot, played by Nancy Brabin Platt, and Mr. Price, played by David Charles. The writers, yes, there was multiple writers for this episode, the first time in Doctor Who, and the only time in Doctor Who Season 1, and they are Kate Herron and Bryony Redman. You may know Kate Herron specifically because she directed and was the showrunner on Loki. She's a director, I think she's a director as well, she's directed loads of other things. But the director of this episode is Ben Chessel. Ben Chessel also directed Season 1, Episode 2, titled The Devil's Cord. The synopsis for this episode is the Doctor and Ruby land in 1813, where guests at a duchess's party are being murdered and a mysterious bounty hunter called Rogue is about to change the Doctor's life forever. Rogue was released on the 8th of June 2024 at 12 AM GMT. In my opinion, this episode is I love Jonathan Groff as Rogue. I like the dancing and I enjoyed the scene in Rogue's spaceship. So without further ado, here is my review of Doctor Who Season 1 Episode 6, titled Rogue. Two men argue about their actions. One of these men is an alien who kills the other man and acquires their form. We then have the title sequence. The Doctor and Ruby dance at the ball. Ruby compares her current location to Bridgerton, which is a Regency drama, I think you would say, available on Netflix. There is currently 2.5 seasons out at the moment. 2 full seasons and part 1 of the 3rd season. With the second part, I think, will be out at some point this week. Anyway, the Doctor explains the power of her psychic earrings. No, that doesn't make sense. The Doctor explains the power of Ruby's psychic earrings. Ruby introduces herself and the Doctor to the Duchess. The Duchess introduces Ruby to several men. Ruby insults one of these men. The Duchess even. I don't think it particularly matters. It explains the insult to the man. The Doctor and Rogue introduce themselves to each other. The Duchess re-encounters one of her rivals. The Duchess is killed. Ruby spies on a conversation between Emily and Lord Barton. Emily explains society's current rules related to marriage to Ruby. Where am I up to? Oh yes, Ruby name drops Bridgerton again. I've also already explained what Bridgerton is. Rogue comments on the Doctor's amount of talking. Rogue and the Doctor learn the Duchess is dead. The Doctor and Rogue believe the other one is to blame for the Duchess's death. Rogue aims a gun at the Doctor. Ruby and Emily introduce themselves to each other. Rogue believes the Doctor is a shapeshifter. The Doctor learns that Rogue is a bounty hunter. Rogue calls the TARDIS a shed. Rogue takes the Doctor to his ship. Emily and Ruby dance with multiple men. Two of the shapeshifters communicate with each other. The shapeshifter in the Duchess's form wants to take Ruby's form for the wedding. The Doctor comments on Rogue's ship being untidy. Rogue traps the Doctor. Rogue learns of the Doctor's sonic screwdriver. The Doctor uses a Scottish accent when communicating with Rogue. The Doctor uses his sonic to play music inside Rogue's spaceship. Rogue and the Doctor repeatedly turn the music on and off. The Doctor gives Rogue his sonic. The Doctor proves his identity to Rogue through his psychic paper. The Doctor reveals all of his incarnations to Rogue. Ruby attempts to convince Emily that meeting a man isn't what life is entirely about. Emily and Ruby discover a dead body. The Doctor shows Rogue the TARDIS. Rogue loves the TARDIS. The Doctor explains his plan to Rogue regarding the shape-shifting aliens. The Doctor learns that Rogue has lost a loved one. Rogue and the Doctor discuss the grief they feel for the people they have lost. The Doctor and Rogue contemplate travelling with each other. The Doctor introduces Rogue to Ruby and Emily. The Doctor learns the motivation of these shape-shifting aliens. Rogue and the Doctor dance. The Doctor explains cosplay to Rogue. Rogue proposes to the Doctor. The Doctor rejects Rogue's proposal. Rogue runs after the Doctor. The Doctor and Rogue hatch a plan to stop the shape-shifting aliens. The shape-shifting aliens transform into their natural form. Rogue runs away with the Doctor in tow. Rogue and the Doctor hide from the shape-shifting aliens. The shape-shifting aliens discuss their greater plans. Ruby reassures Emily. Ruby tells Emily she is from the future. Emily is one of the shape-shifting aliens and kills Ruby. The Doctor learns of Ruby's death. A flashback scene between the Doctor and Carla is shown. One of the guests is killed. Rogue explains the lifespan of the shape-shifting aliens to the Doctor. The Doctor tricks the shape-shifting aliens into stepping into a trap. Ruby reveals to the Doctor that she did die and reveals how she managed to survive. Rogue saves the Doctor from being killed. Rogue attempts to convince the Doctor to send the shape-shifting aliens with Ruby to another planet. The Doctor declines, sacrificing Ruby to save the entire world. The Doctor and Rogue kiss. Rogue sacrifices himself so the Doctor and Ruby can be reunited. Rogue asks the Doctor to find him. Rogue sends himself and the shape-shifting aliens to another planet. Ruby consoles the Doctor. The Doctor still has Rogue's ring, and the episode finishes off with the Legend of Ruby Sunday trailer, which is obviously the trailer for Season 1, Episode 7, which is actually the first part of the two-part Season 1 finale of Doctor Who. So yes, before I do anything else, next time on the Everything Podcast, I'll be actually doing one of your reviews, and I will be reviewing The Beekeeper. Here is the trailer for The Beekeeper.
You're a blessing, Mr. Clay. This place was crabgrass and weeds, and you brought it back to life.
Mrs. Parker and I were friends. She was the only person who ever took care of me.
I just got a message saying that there's a problem with my computer.
Yes, ma'am, we got this.
Yesterday, she shot herself.
This is private property.
Do you know what they do here? Scamming the weakest in our society.
Buddy, I'm counting 3.
1, 2, 3. There, I did it for you. I'm gonna burn this place to the ground.
Will you stomp his ass out?
You're telling me one man did this. The only thing you know is he's a beekeeper.
A beekeeper? Well, that's not good.
Beekeepers is a special program outside the chain of command.
I protect the hive. When the system is out of balance, I correct it.
We have laws for these things.
Until they fail, then you have me.
My fingers, he cut him off. Oh, come on, bro.
Don't move. This is much bigger than a little phishing scam.
The money's going all over the world. To people in finance, even government.
You are a problem. Goddamn right, I'm a problem. I figured I'd give the firefighters a break.
Somebody detain this guy. Ah!
We have to kill him before he kills his way to the top.
Honey?
It's flammable. Oh no.
Oh no, let's not play that again. That was the trailer for The Beekeeper. So let me know what you thought of Doctor Who Season 1 Episode 6 Rogue in the comments below. If you watched it, my review, if you didn't, as I said, you can put both of your thoughts on those in the comments below, as well with anything you want me to cover in the channel. So obviously in the next episode, as I've just talked about, I'm covering The Beekeeper, which is one of your suggestions. So yes, you could put them in the comments below. It could be a TV show or movie suggestion, like The Beekeeper. We've had mainly, I think it's movies so far. There's a couple of TV shows which will be coming up soonish. So we've had Lift, The Outlaws, Wonka, I think, Damsel, Roadhouse, and obviously The Beekeeper in the next episode. So yes, so put TV show or movie suggestions in the comments below, as well with anything else you want to cover in the channel. It could be a TV show or movie news that you would like me to talk about. It could be an article, it could be a book, a comic, a newspaper, etc. Anything and everything. Put all of those in the comments below. And remember, you can also like, comment, and subscribe. And that's it for this episode of the Everything Podcast. Goodbye. Welcome to the Everything Podcast. And in this episode, I'm going to be previewing Doctor Who Season 1, Episode 7, titled The Legend of Ruby Sunday, which is part 1 of the season finale, with next week's episode, Season 1, Episode 8, Empire of Death. Now, it's kind of strange, because as I've mentioned in both the previews for Dot and Bubble, Season 1, Episode 5, and Rogue, Season 1, Episode 6, that I'm recording Dot and Bubble, Rogue, The Legend of Ruby Sunday, and Empire of Death previews all in one day. So I don't know what has happened in Dot and Bubble, Rogue, yet, and like you, I have no idea what's going on in The Legend of Ruby Sunday or Empire of Death. So yes, yeah. So as I've mentioned in the previous episodes, the main difference and the main change is that the cast list it might be significantly longer, especially with last week's episode Rogue, with this episode and uh, next week's episode. So that's today, The Legend of Ruby Sunday and Empire of Death. The cast lists are exactly the same because it's a two-part finale, but I thought I'd split them up because well, it's an extra video, which helps me, and it's more content for you. So a win-win situation. But before I get to my preview of Season 1, Episode 7 of Doctor Who, The Legend of Ruby Sunday, it's time for the Doctor Who Season 1 trailer. Here it is.
Give me the loving!
Where did he come from?
I don't know, he sort of popped up at the right moment. And then he spoke about time travel.
Ruby, you wanna know my secret? I have the whole universe at my fingertips. And I'm all on my own. I'd love it if you came with me.
Who are you?
I'm the Doctor. It's called the TARDIS. It's a time and space machine.
Is it safe?
No idea.
What if I change history by stepping on a butterfly?
Well, that's not gonna happen, is it?
Oh, what's wrong?
With all my adventures, never seen anything like this before.
Oh my, Bridgerton! This place is completely mad.
Things seem to be turning more and more supernatural.
Is that monster?
No, don't be silly. There's no such thing as monsters. They're just creatures you haven't met yet. There are powers beyond the universe, so vast. The whole world could slide into the pit. This is what we're trying to stop.
I'm still her mum. I need to know she'll be okay. You'll keep her safe?
I will keep her safe. I promise.
It's taken me all this time to realize what I'm here to do. I'm gonna save the world.
Everything is possible. Everything is possible.
Time may change me, but I can't trace time.
That was the trailer for Doctor Who Season 1. So here is the preview for Doctor Who Season 1, titled The Legend of Ruby Sunday. Now, this episode, as I mentioned, will be absolutely identical to next week's episode, Empire of Death. Same story, just thought I would split the parts because obviously the release dates are different. But without further ado, here's the preview for The Legend of Ruby Sunday, Doctor Who Season 1, Episode 7. So it stars, we've got a long cast list for this one, Shooter Gatwa as the Doctor, Millie Gibson as Ruby Sunday, Bonnie Langford as Melanie Bush, Gemma Redgrave as Kate Stewart, Alexander Deverett as Colonel Ibrahim, Yasmin Finney as Rose Noble, Lenny Rush as Morris, Michelle Greenidge as Carla Sunday, Angela Winter as Cherry Sunday, Anita Dobson as Mrs. Flood, Susan Twist as an unknown character, Genesis Lanier as unknown, Fela Luther Jiju as unknown, and Takaya Nawo as unknown. The writer of The Legend of Ruby Sunday is Russell T Davis, and the director is Jamie Donahue. The synopsis for this episode is that the Doctor and Ruby come crashing down to present day Earth with a bang, a few sparks, and a give me the loving, as we see in the trailer, which I've just shown. They need Unit's help. What is Ruby Sunday's most precious secret, and how might an old VHS, don't know why I said F there, an old VHS tape hold the key? One thing is certain, the whole of existence is in grave danger. The Legend of Ruby Sunday will release on the 15th of Jan. No, on the 15th of June 2024 at 12 a.m. GMT. That is my preview of Doctor Who Season 1, Episode 7, titled The Legend of Ruby Sunday. So yes, let me know what you thought about my preview for The Legend of Ruby Sunday, Doctor Who Season 1, Episode 7, and what you're most looking forward to, as well as what you thought of the first 6 episodes of Doctor Who Season 1, those being Space Babies, The Devil's Cord, Boom, 73 Yards, and Dot and Bubble, as well as Rogue. So you can do both those things in the comments, but as well as anything you want me to cover on the channel. It could be a TV show or a movie suggestion, or it could be something completely different. And remember, you can also like, comment, and subscribe. And that's it for this episode of the Everything Podcast. Goodbye. Welcome to the Everything Podcast, and in this episode I'm going to be reviewing the penultimate episode of Doctor Who Season 1, which is Doctor Who Season 1 Episode 7, titled The Legend of Ruby Sunday. But like usual, before I get to my review, it's time for the cast list. So we have the Doctor, played by Ncuti Gatwa. Still not entirely sure how to pronounce his name. Ruby Sunday, played by Millie Gibson. Kate Lethbridge-Stewart, played by Gemma Redgrave. Melanie Bush, played by Bonnie Langford. Rose Noble, played by Yasmin Finney. Colonel Ibrahim, played by Alexander Devrient. Maurice Gibbons, played by Lenny Rush. Harriet, played by Genesis Linia. Susan Triad, played by Susan Twist. Bailey Sinclair, played by Phila Luffadew. Carla Sunday, played by Michelle Greenidge. Mrs. Flood, played by Anita Dobson. Cherry Sunday, played by Angela Winter. Colonel Chidozi, played by Tasha Newell. Corporal Sullivan, played by Jasmine Bays. The Vlinks, played by Aidan Cook, and the voice of the Vlinks being Nicholas Briggs, who voices lots of all the monsters, most commonly the Daleks. As Cybermen, pretty much any monster that has a voice. The writer of The Legend of Ruby Sunday was Russ T. Davis, and the director was Jamie Donahue. The synopsis is that the Doctor and Unit investigate Ruby's past, but as the time window reveals horrifying secrets from Christmas Eve, the mysterious Triad technology unleash the greatest evil of all. The Legend of Ruby Sunday was released on the 15th of June 2024 at 12 AM GMT. I'm only going to put the time zone if I know it. So yes, my opinion on The Legend of Ruby Sunday is I loved Rose's return. I liked how connected this episode was to the Church of Ruby Road and Season 1. And actually with Rose's return, kind of 60th slightly, but not really. I enjoyed the inclusions of Kate, Mel and Maurice. Without further ado, here's my review of Doctor Who Season 1 Episode 7, titled The Legend of Ruby Sunday. The TARDIS lands at Unit Tower. Kate issues an order to Unit employees. The Doctor reunites with Rose. The Doctor asks Rose about Donna and the 14th Doctor. The Doctor introduces Ruby and Rose to each other. The Doctor reunites with Kate. The Doctor introduces Kate to Ruby. The Doctor also introduces Ruby to the Vlinks. The Doctor reunites with Colonel Ibrahim. The Doctor meets Harriet and Maurice. The Doctor introduces Ruby to Maurice. The Doctor informs Unit of all the characters played by Susan Twist featured in Season 1. There's actually a few that we haven't seen before. Maurice tells the Doctor about the latest of these characters, known as Susan Triad. Kate reveals all the information Unit currently has about Susan Triad. The Doctor works out that S-Triad is an anagram of TARDIS. Unit already knew this. Ruby reminds the Doctor of his granddaughter Susan. Unit never knew that the Doctor has a granddaughter. We then have the title sequence. Kate recounts the history of Triad technology to Ruby and the Doctor. The Doctor explains regeneration to Ruby. Susan is rehearsing his speech. Mal is working for Susan Triad. Mal gives Susan a coffee. The Doctor tells Unit about Ruby being a foundling and not knowing who her birth mother is. Rose and Kate mention their love for Davina McCall. The Doctor explains to Rose why he can't travel in the TARDIS to find out who Ruby's birth mother is. The Doctor mentions the snow seen in multiple episodes of Season 1. Unit aim to help Ruby discover the identity of her birth mother. Rose assists Ruby in finding the CCTV footage of the night she was abandoned. Susan tells Mel about her nerves. Susan references her child and her parents' jobs. Mel rides a motorbike. Ruby finds the CCTV footage. Rose mentions Donna working for Unit to Carla. Carla gets short of this and persists of joining Ruby and Rose at Unit Tower. Carla asks Mrs. Flood to look after Cherry. Mrs. Flood compliments Rose and Ruby. Cherry asks Mrs. Flood for a cup of tea. Mrs. Flood issues a warning to Cherry. Kate and the Doctor discuss the Doctor's granddaughter. The Doctor confesses that he hasn't reunited with his granddaughter due to the way he lives his life and the possibility of putting his granddaughter in danger. Kate reassures the Doctor. Mel returns to Unit Tower. The Doctor reunites with Mel. Kate reveals her feelings about Carla attempting to enter Unit Tower. The Doctor ignores Kate's wishes and allows Carla to join them. The Doctor learns that against his previous wishes, Unit have access to a time window. The Doctor laughs at Unit's time window. Kate introduces Winston to the Doctor. Winston being Colonel Chidozi. Yeah, I should have mentioned that. Ruby introduces herself to Winston. Dr. Mel and Ruby discuss Ruby being abandoned on Christmas Eve 2004. Ruby reunites with Carla. Ruby asks Mel to take care of Carla. The Doctor and Ruby experience Christmas Eve 2004 through Unit's time window. Mel tells Carla even how the Doctor helped her. It snows inside Unit Tower before the time window has been activated. The Doctor reminds Ruby multiple times the events that happened on Christmas Eve 2004, and neither her or the Doctor can interfere with those events. The Doctor also reminds Ruby of some of the events that took place in the church on Ruby Road, which was the 2023 Christmas special, which was after the 60th anniversary specials, but before season 1. Wrong sentence there. Carla believes that Ruby's birth mother was crying after abandoning Ruby. The Doctor overrules Kate's orders. The Doctor comforts Ruby after Ruby's birth mother walks away. Morris spots another worldly entity. Kate stops Colonel Ibrahim from entering the time window. The Doctor doesn't know the answers to questions asked by Kate and Ruby. Winston communicates to the otherworldly entity. The time window explodes. Kate finds Winston. The Doctor apologises to Kate. Kate issues an order to some other Unit employees. The Doctor asks Mel to introduce him to Susan. The Doctor attacks a wall. Mel reminds the Doctor what he does. The Doctor introduces himself to Susan. The Doctor asks Susan questions about her dreams. The Doctor references the events of Season 1 Episode 5, Dot and Bubble, Season 1 Episode 1, Space Babies, and Season 1 Episode 3, Boom. The Doctor learns of a second TARDIS located at Ruby Road on Christmas Eve 2004. The Doctor asks Kate to evacuate Unit Tower. Ruby says goodbye to Carla. The Vlink scans the TARDIS. Susan delivers her speech. Kate reminds Ruby to follow the Doctor's orders. During her speech, Susan references her conversation with the Doctor. Harriet becomes possessed and issues a warning. Harriet is unveiled as a Harbinger, similar to the Harbingers seen in The Devil's Chord with the boy that the piano lesson before Maestro appears. More on Maestro in a minute. Kate convinces Colonel Ibrahim to step away from Harriet. Harriet mentions the Toymaker, the Trickster, Maestro, Rebate, and the Myra. So the Toymaker we saw in the 60th anniversary specials and all the way back in 1966. Maestro, as I just said, we saw in Season 1 Episode 2, The Devil's Chord. The Trickster is a Sarah Jane Adventures villain, which I will be reviewing at some point, hopefully at this year. Yeah, I think it is this year. This year, hopefully later on in the year, or at some point anyway. And then I don't know about Rebate and the Mara. Sutekh reveals itself to the Doctor. Sutekh is known as the God of Death. Now, Sutekh was in a 4th Doctor story featuring Tom Baker. But yes, I don't know much about Sutekh. So if you know anything about Sutekh, put those in the comments below to try and help. But yes, next time on the Everything podcast, back to Class in a slightly different format. So I mentioned in yesterday's episode, when I was reviewing Class episode 8, the season finale of TV Class, I used those words specifically, and that's because there's been 13 audio adventures, so more episodes than of the series, of audio adventures featuring Charlie, April, Tanya, Ram, Mateusz, and Miss Quill, and I'm going to be reviewing the first one of them tomorrow, which is called Gifted. And here is the trailer for the Big Finish, or the Big Finish era of Class. So yes, that's what's coming up in tomorrow's episode on the podcast. But back to today's episode, let me know what you thought of The Legend of Ruby Sunday, Doctor Who Season 1 Episode 7, and the next Doctor Who review will be of Doctor Who, the Doctor Who Season 1 finale, Season 1 Episode 8, titled Empire of Death. And there will be a preview, but obviously, as I mentioned earlier, it's been recorded a couple of weeks ago at this point, because I recorded, I think it was all the way from Dot and Bubble to Empire of Death all in one day, so it was all the information I had then. So yes, that's coming up on Friday at 7 AM GMT, I think it is. So go check that out, as well as all the previews and reviews for the previous episodes as well on the channel as well. I will actually be in the playlist at some point in this episode, I would imagine. Anyway, but sorry about that. But yes, so let me know what you thought about The Legend of Ruby Sunday in the comments below. If you watched it, my review, if you didn't, put both of your thoughts on those in the comments below, as well as anything else you want me to cover on the channel. It could be a TV show, a movie suggestion. We've had loads, which I am working through, but if you want to send some more in, I can certainly add them to the list. So yes, put those in the comments below, as well with anything else, so like TV show, movies, suggestions. It could also be a book, a comic, an article, or some news about your favourite TV show or movie you would like me to cover. Put those in the comments below as well, and remember, you can also like, comment and subscribe. And that's it for this episode of the Everything Podcast. Goodbye. Welcome to the Everything Podcast. And in this episode, it's going to be my last preview for Doctor Who Season 1. And that's because I'm reviewing Doctor Who Season 1 Episode 8, which is the season finale of Doctor Who Season 1, so there will be no more previews. The next Doctor Who preview I'll be doing will be the 2024 Christmas special, so it'll be coming in December, and as this will be coming out on the 21st of June, that's 6 months of, no Doctor Who previews, but don't worry, I'll be covering, I'm covering Class at the moment, and other bits and pieces, and you never know what I'm covering when this actually goes out, because it's, I'm recording this episode about a month in advance. I'm recording it on the day that 73 Yards, so Season 1 Episode 4, was released, which was the 25th of May, and this episode will be coming out on the 21st of June. That's how far in advance I'm recording these preview episodes. It's 1 episode a week, isn't it? So it's not quite like on the Strand of Neighbours with however many episodes. I may be nearly caught up by when you're seeing this, probably not though. But I'm not here to talk about that. I'm here to talk about Doctor Who Season 1 and the Season 1 Episode 8, Empire of Death, which is the second part of the 2-part finale, with last week's episode, The Legend of Ruby Sunday. But before I give my preview for Season 1 Episode 8 of Doctor Who Empire of Death, it is time for the Doctor Who Season 1 trailer. Here it is.
Give me the loving!
Where did he come from?
I don't know, he sort of popped up at the right moment. And then he spoke about time travel.
Ruby, I want to know my secret. I have the whole universe at my fingertips. And I'm all on my own. I'd love it if you came with me.
Who are you?
I'm the Doctor. It's called the TARDIS. It's a time and space machine.
Is it safe?
No idea.
What if I chase you through by stepping on a butterfly?
Well, that's not gonna happen, is it?
Oh, what's wrong?
With all my adventures, never seen anything like this before.
Oh my, Bridgerton! This place is completely mad.
Things seem to be turning more and more supernatural.
Is that not silly?
No, don't be silly. There's no such thing as monsters. It's just creatures you haven't met yet. There are powers beyond the universe, so vast. The whole world could slide into the pit. This is what we're trying to stop.
I'm still her mum. I need to know she'll be okay. You'll keep her safe?
I will keep her safe. I promise.
It's taken me all this time to realize what I'm here to do. We're gonna save the world.
Everything is possible. Everything is possible. Time may change me, but I can't trace time.
That was the trailer for Doctor Who Season 1. So yeah, that'll be the last time you see that in a preview episode. Obviously, I'll be having Empire of Death. Well, I haven't reviewed 73 Yards, Dot and Bubble Road, The Legend of Ruby Sunday, or Empire of Death yet, because they're not out when I'm recording this, as I mentioned. It's a very Doctor Who-y with it being all complicated with time. But yes, now it's time for the preview for Season 1 episode, the season 1 finale of Doctor Who, titled Empire of Death. So as I mentioned in The Legend of Ruby Sunday preview, Season 1 episode 7, they are identical, but with the release dates being, like, if they came out the same day, I wouldn't have recorded 2 preview episodes, I would just have recorded one, but because they're coming out in 2 different weeks, I wanted to just do it again. And the cast list, I think for this one, is pretty much there, but for the review we'll have the full cast list, as I've mentioned in previous previews for Doctor Who Season 1. So Empire of Death stars Shooter Gatwa as the Doctor, Millie Gibson as Ruby Sunday, Bonnie Langford as Melanie Bush, Gemma Redgrave as Kate Stewart, Alexander Devrant as Colonel Ibrahim, Yasmin Finney as Rose Noble, Lenny Rush as Morris, Michelle Greenidge as Carla Sunday, Angela Winter as Cherry Sunday, Anita Dobson as Mrs. Flood, Susan Twist as an unknown character, Genesis Linier as unknown, Fila Lufagiu as an unknown character, and Chaku Newell as an unknown character. The writer of Empire of Death is Rusty Davis, with the director being Jamie Donahue. The synopsis for this episode is that the Doctor and Ruby come crashing down to present-day Earth with a bang, a few sparks, and a give me the loving. They need units help. What is Ruby Sunday's most precious secret, and how might an old VHS tape hold the key? One thing is certain: the whole of existence is in grave danger. Empire of Death will release on the 22nd of June 2024 at 12 AM GMT, which, if I schedule it right, will be tomorrow from when this episode is released. And that is my preview of Doctor Who Season 1, Episode 8, the Season 1 finale, titled Empire of Death. So yeah, let me know what you thought let me try again. Let me know what you're most looking forward to in Season 1, Episode 8, Empire of Death. And also let me know what you thought about the first 7 episodes of Doctor Who Season 1, those being Space Babies, The Devil's Cord, Boom, 73 Yards, Dot and Bubble, Rogue, and The Legend of Ruby Sunday. You can put your thoughts on both of those things in the comments below, as well as anything you want me to cover on the channel. It could be a TV show or a movie suggestion, or anything else with the podcast being called Everything. I want to cover as much as possible. And remember, you can also like, comment, and subscribe. And that's it for this episode of the Everything Podcast. Goodbye. Welcome to the Everything Podcast, and in this episode I'm going to be reviewing the Doctor Who Season 1 finale titled Empire of Death. But before I get there, we have the cast list. So we have the Doctor, played by Shooter Gatwa, Ruby Sunday, played by Millie Gibson, Kate Lethbridge-Stewart, played by Gemma Redgrave, Melanie Bush, played by Bonnie Langford, Susan Triad, played by Susan Twist, Rose Noble, played by Yasmin Finney, Harriet, played by Genesis Lenier, Maurice Gibbons played by Lenny Rush, Colonel Ibrahim as Alex Devrient, Corporal Sullivan played by Jasmine Bays, Mrs. Flood played by Anita Dobson, Carla Sunday played by Michelle Greenidge, Cherry Sunday played by Angela Winter, Kind Woman played by Sean Clifford, The Vlinks played by Adrian Cook, and the voice of the Vlinks played by Nicholas Briggs. The writer of Empire of Death was Rusty Davis, and the director was Jamie Donahue. Here is the synopsis. The Doctor has lost, his ageless enemy remains supreme, and a shadow is falling over creation. Nothing can stop the devastation, except perhaps one woman. Empire of Death was released on the 22nd of June 2024 at 12 AM GMT. My previous episode is I loved that Ruby finally got to meet her birth mother. Like the trio of the Doctor, Ruby and Mel, I enjoyed seeing the Doctor defeat Sutekh. Without further ado, here is my review for the Doctor Who Season 1 finale, Empire of Death. We have a previously recap and the title sequence. Mel saves the Doctor from being killed by Susan Triad. The Doctor asks everyone in the room to evacuate. Sutekh uses sand to kill almost everyone in the room. The Doctor and Mel ride a motorbike to escape Susan Triad. Harriet kills the Vlinks. Rose, Colonel Ibrahim, Morris and Kate. All of the bus's passengers run off the bus. A taxi crashes. Taxi crashes. Sorry, I forgot what I was up to there. Sutekh kills Mrs. Flood, Cherry and Carla. The Doctor discovers the memory TARDIS as shown in Tells the TARDIS, which in the last episode I actually reviewed the Pyramids of Mars episode of them because it was released that day. The Doctor gets Ruby to remember the TARDIS so that the memory TARDIS re-materialises. Sutekh appears in front of the Doctor, Ruby and Mel. The Doctor introduces Ruby to Sutekh. A scene from Pyramids of Mars is shown. The Doctor remembers how he defeated Sutekh. Sutekh reveals since its first encounter with the Doctor, it has attached itself to the TARDIS, even travelling with the Doctor since then. So that was 1975. So for 49 years, and all the adventures that will have been from that. So this would be all of the adventures of the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th. War Doctor, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, and now 50th Doctors, all of their adventures. Yes, Harriet is controlling the Doctor's TARDIS. Sutekh mentions the episode's title, which, as I've mentioned, is Empire of Death. The Doctor works out that Sutekh invented Susan Triad, appearing in each of his recent adventures. The Doctor stands up to Sutekh. The Doctor calls himself an extinction event. Mel, Ruby and the Doctor enter the memory TARDIS. Mel finds the costume of one of the Doctors she'd travelled with. So Mel, originally played by Blood Anthony, originally played both the 6th and 7th Doctors, so that is Colin Baker and Sylvester McCoy. The Doctor pilots the memory TARDIS. Mel finds the 13th Doctor's sonic screwdriver. Ruby and Mel help the Doctor stabilise the memory TARDIS. The Doctor reminds Ruby of their first adventure together as shown in the Church of Ruby Road. The Doctor tells Ruby about the TARDIS's perception filter. Ruby and the Doctor both mention 73 Yards, which is the title of Season 1 Episode 4, which was the episode where the Doctor was in it. Was barely in it. Yeah, was in it for a minute or so, and it was a very Ruby-led episode. Ruby learns that Carla is dead. The Doctor mentions the TV movie, The Time Meddler and Rose. So that's Rose, right. That's Rose the episode, so the first episode in the 2005 series, featuring Christopher Eccleston as the Ninth Doctor and Billy Piper as Rose Tyler. That's Rose the episode, not Rose Noble played by Yasmin Finney, and not Rose Tyler played by Billy Piper. The Doctor learns that every single Dalek is dead. The Doctor blames himself for Sutekh destroying the universe. Mel and Ruby reassure the Doctor that this isn't true. The Doctor screams. Ruby and Mel calm down the Doctor. Sutekh and Susan Triad discuss the Doctor and Ruby. The Doctor asks a woman for some metal and is given a spoon. This woman's daughter is dead. This woman mentions her husband to the Doctor. This woman dies. The Doctor returns to the memory TARDIS. The Doctor uses the spoon to reactivate a device. The Doctor explains the 4th Doctor and Sarah Jane to Ruby. The Doctor tells Ruby that he and Mel used to travel together. Mel forgets some of her adventures with the Doctor. The Doctor works out that like him and Ruby, Sutekh doesn't know who Ruby's birth mother is. The Doctor reminds Ruby that she is human. Sutekh mind controls Mel. The Doctor introduces Ruby to Roger A.P. William, which is the villain of 73 Yards. Ruby and the Doctor find a way to figure out the identity of Ruby's birth mother. The Doctor finds a whistle. Ruby, Mel and the Doctor land in 2046. The Doctor asks Mel to keep an eye out for anyone. Whilst he and Ruby attempt to discover the identity of Ruby's birth mother, the Doctor uses a device to obtain Ruby's DNA, which he inserts into a sonic screwdriver to search for Ruby's birth mother. It starts to snow in the room Ruby and the Doctor are in. Mel, under the control of Sutek, threatens the Doctor. Evil Mel, the Doctor and Ruby arrive in Unit HQ. Sutek mind controls the Doctor, forcing him to be unable to move. Ruby and the Doctor trick Sutek. Ruby attaches some rope to Sutek with some assistance from Gravity Gloves, first seen in the 2023 Christmas special, titled The Church on Ruby Road, which is the first full episode featuring the 15th Doctor and the introduction for Ruby Sunday. The Doctor regains control of his TARDIS with the whistle. Sutek, now attached to the TARDIS, is dragged through the time vortex. The Doctor forces Sutek to resurrect everyone it killed. Mel, Susan, Triad and Morris revs the Blinks. Colonel Ibrahim and Kate wake up, as does Colonel Josie, who was seen in the last episode, Season 1, Episode 7, The Legend of Ruby Sunday. Carl and Mrs. Flood and Cherry wake up. Ruby helps the Doctor pilot the TARDIS. Sutek is killed. Kate recruits Susan to join unit. Colonel Ibrahim insults Susan's tea-making ability. Carla thanks the Doctor for bringing Ruby back safe. Ruby, with the assistance of unit, finally discovers the identity of her birth mother. Ruby's birth mother's name is Louise. Kate tells Ruby Louise's life post abandoning her at the Church on Ruby Road. The Doctor reveals that Louise named her. The Doctor reveals that Louise named Ruby Ruby. The Doctor tells Ruby more about Louise. Ruby orders a coffee and introduces herself to Louise. Louise meets Carla and Cherry. Ruby says goodbye to the Doctor. The Doctor thanks Ruby for getting him to be open about his granddaughter Susan. Mrs. Flood explains how Ruby got her happy ending being reunited with her birth mother, and Mrs. Flood promises that the Doctor's story will end with terror. That is my review of Doctor Who Season 1, Episode 8, the Season 1 finale, titled Empire of Death. And I just want to thank you all for watching all of my Doctor Who Season 1 reviews. Obviously, obviously that's pause on Doctor Who for a while, because the next episode will be Christmas special, so that probably won't be coming out until January, I would imagine, because it's Christmas Day and I won't be doing podcast stuff those days, I wouldn't imagine, but we'll see. Obviously, like with all the episodes, I tried to get it out as quick as possible, and then obviously we've got another 8 episodes in the 2025 season, which we would assume would be around this time of the year again, but that's for the future. And again, thank you for watching all of the Doctor Who Season 1 reviews, and there will be a compilation coming out soonish of all of my reviews for Doctor Who Season 1. But if you want to find them now, there is a playlist called Doctor Who Season 1. Series 1 is slightly different. That's the one that I mentioned earlier, starring Christopher Eccleston and Billy Piper. But back to this episode, back to tomorrow's episode, which next time on the Everything Podcast, I will be reviewing one of your suggestions, that being June Part 2. Here is the trailer, or one of the trailers actually, for June Part 2. That was the trailer for June 2, which, as I mentioned, I'll be reviewing in the next episode of the podcast. But back to this episode, let me know in the comments below what you thought about Empire of Death and Doctor Who Season 1 as a whole, if you watched it, and my reviews if you didn't. Put your thoughts on those in the comments below, as well with anything else you want me to cover on the channel. It could be a TV show or movie suggestion, it could be a book, a comic, an article or whatever, or something completely different, or even some news about your TV show or movie you want to talk about. Put those in the comments below as well. And remember, you can also like, comment and subscribe. And that's it for this episode of the Everything Podcast. Goodbye.